Hi, I'm Scott Berry. I'm a broker associate on Janet Berry's luxury home team at Premier Plus Realty in beautiful Naples, Florida. And today is your lucky day. This is actually my annual reminder for everyone who qualifies for Homestead in Florida but has not applied for Homestead in the state of Florida. You need to apply before March 1st, and I will go into more detail on exactly how you apply for Homestead in this video. But I also want to issue a warning about some folks that have been losing their homestead privileges because of something they've been doing over the last couple years, and I'm sure they didn't realize that this was going to affect their homestead. So I want to talk about that as well, and we'll be right back to talk about Homestead in Florida. Well, I'm going to start off with a quick change of plans. My initial intention was just to put out a quick video just reminding people to apply for Homestead in Florida if they qualified for it. So as I've been reminding people, though, I've been getting so many questions, so I thought it would be a really good idea to put together a quick crash course on what Homestead means in Florida, how the Homestead Exemption works, what Save Our Homes and Portability are and how they work, and also just how to apply for it all and make it all work and make sure that you maintain your homestead in the state of Florida. Besides sunshine almost every single day of the year, incredible beaches, truly world-class shopping and dining, incredible cultural and recreational opportunities, awesome schools. Some of the nicest things in Florida actually come in the form of financial advantages over other states. Not only do we not have individual state income tax, not only do we not have an estate tax or a death tax as some people call it, but we also enjoy fairly low property taxes, which can be improved even further when you become a formal and proud resident of Florida. Let's talk about Florida residency. One of the major advantages of homesteading your property in the state of Florida is that you get an automatic $50,000 exemption from property taxes. That is a $50,000 deduction from the assessed value of your property. As an example, if you're looking to purchase a home in Southwest Florida for $500,000, the property appraiser is probably going to assess the value of your home around 85% of your purchase price. So that brings you down to $425,000. Now, when you subtract out the automatic $50,000 homestead exemption, which is the deduction that's offered to you as a Florida resident, and that brings you down to $375,000, which is the tax basis that's used to calculate your taxes. We use a millage rate in Florida to calculate your taxes, and a millage rate is 1/10 of 1%, or $1 for every $1,000 of assessed value. The current millage rate in Collier County is 10.8084, or 1.08% of the assessed value after the homestead deduction, which is really low, and that's the amount that you would owe in property taxes. If you multiply the $375,000 times 0.0108084, and your first year taxes would be $4,053.15 on your $500,000 purchase. Just to run through the same scenario through Lee County, you will use their millage rate, which is 12.2544. Why is Lee County's millage rate so much higher? That's a common question that I get, and that's definitely something that we're going to tackle in a different video. Basically, Lee County has a smaller pool of money, a smaller tax basis than we do in Collier County. So their millage rate is considerably higher in Lee County versus Collier County. But we will talk about that in a future video. If you take the $375,000 assessed value after the homestead deduction and multiply it by Lee County's millage rate, 0.0142544, and your first year taxes would be approximately $5,300 and $45.40 in Lee County. Even though our millage rates and property taxes are pretty low in Collier and Lee counties, the homestead exemption does make a considerable difference. But there are other advantages as well to homesteading your property in the state of Florida, and I'm going to talk about those. I think probably my favorite provision of homestead in the state of Florida is called Save Our Homes. And basically in 1992, the Florida Constitution was amended to limit the amount that the assessed value of your property, the amount that it could increase each year. And the Save Our Homes provision limits that to 3% or the change in the consumer price index, whichever is smaller, whichever is lower. So that means the assessed value of your property cannot increase more than 3% each year, or the change in consumer price index, whichever is lower. And just to give you an idea, capping it at 3% sounds really good, but the change in the consumer price index over the past couple of years, this year, the change in CPI was less than half of that cap. So it was actually 1.4% this year. So your assessed property value cannot increase more than 1.4% this year. And last year it was 2.3%, and the year before that it was 1.9%. So that puts a cap on the rate at which your assessed value of your property can grow. And obviously the real benefit to that is that your property value, your market value, is still going to be increasing, and while the assessed value of your property that your taxes are calculated on can increase only by that small amount, which is awesome. There's another really awesome benefit as well. I want you just to picture what I was just talking about. We are currently experiencing record increases in property value, and we've always had incredible market value increases in Southwest Florida. I want you to picture this and see if I can illustrate it. Your property value right now is at record rates, while your assessed value can only increase by such a small amount, 1.3% each year. The difference between the market value and the assessed value of your property, as these two lines get farther and farther apart, this is a chunk of value that you do not pay property taxes on. And it's a chunk that should keep getting bigger and bigger the longer you stay in your home and the longer you continue to enjoy living in Southwest Florida. So what would happen if you decided at some point, for whatever reason, that you wanted to move to a different home? It would sure be a shame to lose all that accumulated tax benefit that you have right now in your current home. Well, there's another element of Save Our Homes, and it's called Portability, which allows you to take that chunk of untaxable value that you've built up, and it lets you move it into another home in Florida, which is just fantastic. The amendment initially allowed you to transfer this accumulated benefit to a new Florida home within 2 years, but the November 2020 election, the Florida voters approved to expand that time frame. You have 3 years to transfer that to a new home, and you get to transfer that benefit whether you are upsizing or downsizing your property. It is important to note that that 3-year time frame is from January 1st of the year that you sold your homestead property. It's not 3 years from the date that you sold that property. If you sold your home in June of one year, that 3-year clock is actually going to start on January 1st of the year that you sold the property in, not the actual sale date. Again, this value can be ported to a new homestead, whether you're upsizing or downsizing your homestead, and this is the way it works. The difference between your market value and your assessed value is the portability that you don't pay taxes on, which I was just talking about. And you can move up to $500,000 of that benefit by way of portability to your new homestead. So if the market value of your current homestead is $400,000 and the assessed value is $250,000, the difference is $150,000, and that is your portability benefit. So let's say you move into a new home that is of equal or greater value, then you would move that entire value to your new home. And that's your portability savings, which is fantastic. Now, if you move to a home of lesser value, it's a little bit different. You'd actually take the percentage of the portability savings to your new home. So using that same example, you figure out the percentage of the benefit, which is 37.5%, which equals $75,000 of the benefit that you can port to your new home if you're downsizing in the same scenario. So in these scenarios, you're either going to be able to move $150,000 of portability benefits to a new home if you're upsizing, or $75,000 in benefit if you're downsizing. So your portability benefit is a one-time permanent reduction in your home's assessed value. And you can use this portability an unlimited number of times if you move within the state of Florida. In addition to the tax benefits of homesteading property, another benefit is that you enjoy the benefit of protection from creditors' claims, which means if you properly homestead your property, a creditor cannot attach to your homestead. How do you determine if you qualify for homestead? In order to homestead your property in the state of Florida, you need a couple things. First of all, you need to be residing in the property on January 1st of the year after you purchase the property or after you move to your new property. And you must apply for the homestead exemption no later than February 28th of that year. The deadline is March 1st. It's not automatic, and you have to take the step of formally applying for the homestead exemption, which is DR 501 form. And after you do that, it will automatically reapply each year until if you ever terminate your homestead in Florida for any reason. One important note, you may pre-file for the following year from March 2nd through December 1st. So basically from the deadline till the end of the year, you can, if you purchase a home, you can pre-file your homestead exemption for the next year. So that's really cool. I always recommend, as soon as you purchase your property, go ahead and pre-file for your homestead exemption for next year. That way you won't have to worry about it. You are only allowed one homestead exemption. So if you are homesteaded in another state, in another place or another state, you must relinquish that homestead first. And this is extremely important before you homestead your property in Florida. In order to maintain your homestead status, you must be residing in the property, and you will risk losing your homestead status if you ever rent your property. What do you need to apply for homestead in Florida? All the items we're listing out here are required because you do need to provide your proof of legal residence in Florida. Number one, evidence of ownership. You can use your deed or your tax receipt for that. Number two, you'll need social security numbers for all the applicants and spouses, and that's required by Florida statute. You'll need your Collier County voter registration if you vote, and it has to be dated prior to January 1st. If you are not a voter, you may file a declaration of domicile with the clerk of courts prior to January 1st, and you can do that instead of using your voter ID card. Number four, you must have your Florida driver's license dated prior to January 1st, and your Florida vehicle registration. Again, everything needs to be in place prior to January 1st, including yourself. You need to be in the property by January 1st, and all of your documentation needs to be in effect prior to January 1st as well. Additional information that might be necessary: if you're not a U.S. citizen, you need to bring your resident alien card. If your property is held in a trust, you need to bring a complete copy of the trust agreement. If your residence is a mobile home, the real property decal number and a copy of your registration or title to the mobile home is required. And if you or a spouse benefited from a residency-based exemption on an out-of-state property, a document from that government office stating the exemption has been removed will also be required. And that's extremely important. You want to make sure that you relinquish any other homesteads that you have. You don't want any other states to come back and say that you were still a resident of that state, and they're going to want to charge you taxes and back taxes and penalties and all that stuff. So where do you file? Again, I just want to stress that this has to be done prior to March 1st. And new applications for homestead, again, you're going to use the form DR 501 for the current year, must be made in person if you live in Collier County. And you're going to do that at the property appraiser's office or at select locations during the regular homestead filing period. If you're a resident of Lee County, you can file online by visiting lipa.org/homestead/applyforhomestead.aspx. And that'll bring you right to the online application where you can fill out the DR 501 form online, and then you submit your documents online as well. But if you'd like a copy of, we do have your guide to homestead, which has all of this information in it, all the details you could possibly want regarding applying for homestead in the state of Florida are in this guide. And if you want a copy of this, just go to www.barryhometeam.com/homestead and just fill out your name and email address, and we'll email that guide to you as well. So all of these locations will be in there, as well as all the documents that you need, and every possible detail that you can think of regarding homestead in Florida. What do you do if you move to a different home in Florida? You just have to file a different form, the DR 501T. You can file that at all the same locations that we just talked about, as well as in Lee County, and you can use the same URL to file online with Lee County as well. One of the assumptions of your homestead is that this is your primary residence. Just make sure that you go through the proper channels in whatever state you're moving from to make sure that you properly relinquish your homestead in that state. And that may be the most important thing that we talk about today. Just making sure that you tie all your loose ends and wrap everything up before you claim Florida as your residence. Make sure that you maintain or obtain your driver's license in Florida. Do not maintain or obtain a driver's license in another state. The driver's license is residency-based, so make sure that you keep your driver's license in Florida. Make sure that you do not register a vehicle that you drive in Florida. Do not register it in any other states. Make sure that that stays registered in Florida as well. And also do not register to vote in any other states. Make sure that you register to vote in Florida. So that's it. I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope that you now have a really good understanding of what homestead means, how it works, how the homestead exemption works, Save Our Homes, Portability, to apply for homestead, when and where you have to do it. Please make sure you do it by March 1st, and I highly recommend that you pre-file for any years in the future. If you're going to be applying for next year, just get it done this year and save any time and headaches that could happen if you wait till the last minute. Thank you, as always, for watching all of our videos. If you have any specific topics that you'd like me to talk about in future videos, please just let me know. I love doing these, and I hope they're helpful to you. And also, if there's anything that you can think of that a potential Florida resident should know, I love putting those videos together as well. If you live in Florida now and there's something that you wish you knew when you moved here that you didn't know, anything like that, we love putting these videos together for you. So again, thank you again, and I will talk to you soon.